Remember a couple years ago when they first announced Ben Affleck was going to be the goddamn Batman, and everyone in a huge shitstorm of hate and fury and rage saying Ben Affleck was going to ruin it, Daredevil sucked, and it's like, he's gonna ruin Batman. And guess what, kids? I was one of the few people defending him like, no, you give this guy a chance, he's gonna make a great Batman. I'm sure he'll be pretty fucking awesome. And guess what? I told you so. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Yeah, Superman and Batman are gonna fight in this. And this has been my most anticipated movie for the last couple years, you know? Dark Knight Rises ended and immediately I was like, give me more Batman. Since the Dark Knight Rises ended, I was just waiting for someone to put Batman in a new movie, reboot him, make him a little different, hopefully more comic booky. And when I saw where it was going, I'm like, I'm excited for this. This more comic books type Batman with Zack Snyder directing. That wasn't what excited me. But we got Ben Affleck, who I was very excited for. The second they announced, like, yeah, that's good casting. Let's see how this turns out. And this movie kind of deals with the fallout of Man of Steel with Superman, Zod, we're flying around smashing shit. And that kind of pissed off Batman. He's like, listen, you broke a lot of stuff, a lot of collateral damage, people died, and I'm pissed at you and we're gonna fight. That's basically the premise, and they're gonna fight. Yeah, the title says it all, but there's a lot more going on in this movie that I won't spoil. I will be doing a spoiler review later to discuss that. Anyway, let's talk about the movie. This is a Zack Snyder movie. The guy's definitely style over substance, you know, very stylish though, that's the thing. You can never say a Zack Snyder movie looked bad or crappy because he's got a very vivid style that's all his own, and it's interesting to watch and it's entertaining. The only problem is, like, he needs someone really good to write his scripts, otherwise the movies kind of fall apart. And I'm a fan of Man of Steel. It's right up here. Boop! I don't know if you can see it, but it was my favorite Superman movie, and I love Chris Reeve. He's a great Superman. But, let me grab him. Henry Cavill Superman can actually fly around and kick some serious ass, and that's what I appreciate, and that's what I want. And he's a more dark and gritty Superman. He's got problems, he's got existential crises going on, being the last son of Krypton, a destroyed planet, the only Kryptonian left alive. Not to mention, after basically his first day on the job as Superman, goes out, tries to save the world from being destroyed, and does, and people get super pissed off because while he was doing that, a lot of shit broke, and he's like, listen, I was just trying to save the world and everyone's picking on me, and you know, Superman's feelings got hurt. There was a couple nights he cuddled Lois Lane and cried in a tub full of his own tears. Speaking of which, I just gotta hold up all these toys at once. Okay, Batman, Superman, Armored Batman, and Wonder Woman. Check that shit out. And fun fact, right before I started filming this, I was playing with these toys, I was having them fight. That's what got me excited to talk about it. Like, I watched the movie, then it's like, alright, now let's make them fight. Anyway, yeah, back to the movie. What was I talking about? Zack Snyder as a director. He lacks substance in a lot of his movies, but his style kind of makes up for it. Mostly. He's never made a great, amazing movie because he's never had a great script to go with it. And unfortunately, this movie was not an exception. This movie is a little bit of a mess, kind of sloppy, kind of just thrown together, and it feels like shit's missing. But there is an R-rated 30-minute longer director's cut out there somewhere waiting to come home to my home theater, be watched on the TV with the little neon lights behind it. That's what I want, and I'm waiting for that because hopefully that can make up for some of the flaws in this movie, though not all of them. And I was going in like, please, just be good. Give me the Batman movie I want and the one I deserve. And did we get that? Well, yeah, we got a really good Batman movie. Pretty much everything with Batman was amazing. And I'm a huge fan of the Batman, the Batfleck. But there's just sloppy things like Justice League setup that was just not integrated well. It didn't feel organic to the story. It just felt like, listen, we're Warner Brothers and we're trying to set up our own universe. So shove this shit in wherever you can. How about do it right here? You got 3 minutes, go. Who cares if it feels good or not? Just put it in there. That sounded a little sexual. So yeah, the writing is a problem, but Zack Snyder's direction, as I said, really good. You know, the guy, for the first half of the movie, it feels like a political thriller, almost dealing with some of the fallout of Superman and all his, like I said, they hurt his feelings, they were picking on him. And then the second half goes into more Zack Snyder animation crazy land where it's all CG and explosions and stuff. Where Zack Snyder basically shot his load and like, I can finally be Zack Snyder, let's go. And did everything it felt like he wanted to. But on the other side of things, when you go to the acting, it's pretty much all flawless and great. Ben Affleck is Batman. I gotta hold him up because you gotta look at him. But yeah, Ben Affleck is Batman. That's where I want to talk about because this is the standout of the movie. First off, he looks fucking amazing. As Batman, this is that classic comic book look brought to the screen, and it looks amazing. It doesn't have to be all this armor and stuff. Just give him the comic book look, and it looks amazing on the screen. It's exactly what I want him to look like. It just aesthetically is super pleasing and great. And Ben Affleck as Batman and Bruce Wayne, both fantastic performances. As Bruce Wayne, he's super interesting. You really get that dark, gritty, grizzled, older Bruce Wayne that's a little bit bitter at the world, and he's very tortured internally. I like that. He was really good as him, and then as Batman, he's great. He's a super badass. He's fucking brutal in this movie. And also, they updated the thing. They put a little voice thing, so it's not, what's that called? A voice modulator? He doesn't have to do the Batman voice. They're like, listen, we're just not even going to worry about it, whether it's good or not. We're just going to modulate it and not even worry about it, because even though I liked it, a lot of people were mad at Christian Bale first. Where were the other routes? People didn't like that, but I liked it. But most people, no. So voice modulator gets rid of that problem. Henry Cavill is Superman, great. I really love him. He's my Superman, and it's half from the fact that just the old Chris Reeve, I love him. He's a great Boy Scout, but this Superman, like I said, can kick some ass. He's got a lot more drama and heft and shit happening to him. He's got to go through a lot more emotionally as a person, and he evolves as a character, which is interesting. And yeah, it's just a more modern sensibility for Superman that I like. So yeah, he's my favorite Superman. And then Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. I was a little concerned, but it turns out she did great. She was an amazing Wonder Woman. And going into it, I was like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, Fast and Furious is all I knew her from, so I'm like, I don't know about that. And then she was great. I thought maybe she's too small or whatever. She kicks ass. She's really good as Wonder Woman. I loved her. Can't wait for that damn movie to come out, because really, she's one of the best parts of this movie. A standout. Her and Batman just own it. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, a little bit less. You know, his performance is weird. And going in, I was like, I'm sure it'll be fine. And it was fine. He did a good job. It's just that version of Lex Luthor, their interpretation, a little weird, a little off. Not exactly what I would want from Lex Luthor. But going forward, it's like, I'll go with it, because we'll talk about Batman too. Going forward, it's like, not everything is perfect. There's one little wrinkle to Batman, but I'll go forward with it. But it's weird, because Batman, I didn't mention this, because the thing about Batman, the great Dark Knight detective, he kills in this. He's brutal. He doesn't give a shit. He's a murderer. It's like, I'm gonna get in the Batplane and shoot shit and blow you up, or just blow you up, or ram you with the Batmobile. Like, he's just brutal, and his fighting style just, yeah, he's gonna snap some shit up on people. And also, Amy Adams is Lois Lane. It's like Lex Luthor, her is the weak point, and it's not her fault, because first off, she's great as Lois Lane. I like her a lot. They started out like, okay, we'll put you in a tub, and that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Lois Lane in the tub, I have no complaints with. But they struggle, like, here's a subplot we'll do with Lois Lane that doesn't really tie into the movie, and it actually detracts and takes away from the movie, distracts you. It's just giving Lois Lane shit to do. And that, her whole subplot in the movie could have been cut out and I would not have missed it. It didn't even really matter. What it accomplished could have been done in 2 minutes and it would have been way better. Lois Lane was shoved in the movie and forced all over the place. They didn't know what to do with her. Jesse Eisenberg, weird choice that I'll go with, but it was a little weird. A little, very Nicolas Cage-like in a way. And then Ben Affleck's Batman. I love Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, but even Batman, even more. It's like, listen, I know, it's fucked up and weird to see Batman kill, but this interpretation, I don't know if it's just like, listen, we decide to ditch that, we won't even mention it. If they mentioned it, like, he had that rule and he's changed. He's evolved as a character and now that rule doesn't matter to him. He's more grizzled and battle hardened, maybe. But they didn't even mention it, so it seemed weird and out of place. Like, what the fuck is this? He's just, you killed that guy and no one ever brought it up. It's weird. But what's the point of this movie? It's Batman taking on Superman. These two titans of the superhero DC world going head to head, beating the shit out of each other, right? And that scene, it gives you exactly what you want. My problem is, I've seen it done better. And I feel like, is that unfair to judge the movie based on, like, other movies? Maybe a little bit. Like, I've watched The Dark Knight Returns. I've seen Superman and Batman fight better in this movie. They kicked the shit out of each other. This was an amazing fight. And this one, it's live action, and it gives you exactly what you want, a Superman-Batman fight, but I've just seen it done better. And also, setting up the fight was a little weak in my opinion. Batman, he had good motivation, and then things get muddled, and the writing kind of ruined it a little bit as why Batman wanted to fight him. And Superman, they just contrived all sorts of shitty stuff. Like, alright, here's why you'll fight Batman. It's like, no, that's, yeah, weak writing in this movie. Muddled, weak, crappy writing, backed up by shoving shit in to set up Justice League. It's like, the movie falls apart in the writing for sure. The acting overall is pretty damn good. The direction, you know, Zack Snyder definitely does his Zack Snyder thing and does his style over substance a little bit, but damn, it's an entertaining, good style. When action goes down, when Superman Batman fight, even though I've seen it done better, it's so much fun to watch those two fight, and it's a great fight. It really is. You get everything you want. There's a lot of great memorable moments from that fight. The action overall, except for like the last end little bit, which in my opinion was a little bit blah, forgettable because it went to that CGI, Zack Snyder, everything explodes land. aside from that, everything else was super awesome and memorable, great action. It was good, just the storytelling basically was weak, and yeah. And like I said, there's probably some of that is because they cut out a half hour from this movie, and they had a lot to do. This is basically a movie that had to set up a lot of things, so the movie did suffer because of it, but I hold out hopes that that R-rated 30-minute longer cut can be better. But for what we got right now, it was kind of a mess. A mess with certain amounts of greatness in it. Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, that shit was great. I loved it. But the writing, pretty weak. So I'd give Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice a B-. I was disappointed by this movie. No one wanted to love this movie more than me. I wanted to go in there and get a perfect, amazing movie, and I couldn't. They had too much going on, too much to do. A lot of problems in this movie, but it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just, it's got a lot of problems, but still, I'll stand up all day screaming to the heavens saying Batman in this movie is perfect and amazing. It's everything I wanted except for the damn murder. That's the only thing. And it hurts a little to say that this is not the greatest movie, because I was so hyped up, but I'm not gonna Phantom Menace it where it's like I'm a huge fan, and just because of that, I'll forgive it for its flaws. I had to address them. I'll do a spoiler talk to talk about it more, because yeah, there's some big fucking problems in this movie that I didn't talk about here. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Comment below, tell me yours, and I'll see you guys in a little bit when I do the spoiler video. I've got a lot to say, so I can't wait to do that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.